What's up, guys? It is Wednesday, October 5th. It's 3:24 p.m. and this is the newsletter. So starting off, we had, going off of the Phoenix kind of theme we've been going with the past week, we had Credit Suisse CEO says bank will rise like a phoenix. And because there's a lot of talk that they're going to go down, they're going to go bankrupt, and along with like UBS and Dutch Bank as well too. But all these banks, it's funny, are actually partnered with Ripple and some of these blockchain technology companies. And what I believe is these digital assets that are going to be powering the new financial system, and that these banks like Credit Suisse and Dutch Bank are using, I believe that they're holding these coins as well too. And when everybody thinks that these banks are going to go bankrupt, actually these digital assets that are working with the banks are actually going to be the way to bail them out without getting a public bailout. These digital assets that are going to help free up the trapped capital in the system and unlock it will then be, and will save trillions of dollars and free it up. And it's going to allow these banks to actually flourish instead of actually disappear and go bankrupt. So Credit Suisse saying that they're going to rise like a phoenix after all the signs are showing that they're going to go bankrupt means that, you know, they know what's coming, that get ready for the phoenix. And looking back at 2016, August 8th, Credit Suisse solving the problems of cross-border payments on Ripple's website. So they're partners. And Credit Suisse Group is the latest global bank to agree that cross-border payments are ready for distributed financial tech. In a new 135-page report, Credit Suisse offers their research and expertise on blockchain, declaring that it will fundamentally change every aspect of banking and finance in the next 10 years. That's by 2026, because this was 2016. Furthermore, the report comes to the same conclusion as Ripple on the question of where these shifts will occur first and have the most significant impact: cross-border payments. So it's a long report. I'm not going to go through it all, but I am curious to see. Later, I'll go through it, and then if I find anything, I'll share it. But this was about 6 years ago, so we can see and go through those old documents to see how, if it's panning out the way that they envisioned it, and kind of see where we're at on the timeline and see what the end goal is. So I'm going to look at that later. But right there, rise like the phoenix. We already know, if you haven't watched that video, Ripple XRP, the phoenix, because the signs are there. I'll show you guys what's good. So moving on, we got, and I'm going to do, there's so much news that while I was gone that has come out. So I'm just going to do like rapid fire, but I'm not just going to go off on an hour and like do all these news things. I'm going to break them up into pieces. So starting off, we got, so UK gold dealers sold out a bullion after pound's record fall causes demand to skyrocket. So gold, silver, all these commodities are now skyrocketing because the currencies, fiat currencies, are dying across the globe besides the dollar. The dollar is the last shoe to drop. But where all the people in UK, where are they kind of fleeing and putting their money? Gold. And then digital assets as well too. And there's going to be kind of an intertwining of that as well. So because all these currencies are crashing, we just know that we're closer to that end goal. And I had mentioned in my market update, I feel like it was yesterday, about my shift in my portfolio. The reason being is you have all the currencies crashing besides the dollar. That's the last shoe to drop. Where are all these international and these big conglomerates, banks, governments, corporations gonna pile their money into? A digital asset, like a currency like XRP, like XLM, that is limited in supply, but can also be converted into any fiat currency, any commodity, any stock. Like, that's the future. So like, it just all makes sense. Their currencies, they're able to convert into anything, and they're limited in supply, and they're partnered with all these institutions. So I'm loading up on the XRP XLM and then leaving the rest, like a couple thousand in each, just to let those just go. And I'm focusing and dialing more on XRP, XLM, the ISO coins, since it's right around the corner. We're like a month away. So that's going to be the goal. And let's keep moving. So Hyperledger Foundation, they're at Cybos. So Swift is holding their conference, their annual conference is happening October 10th to 12th. And you know those consortiums that we watch, Hyperledger Foundation, they're going to be there. Then we have, so Joe Biden's administration urges Congress to speed up crypto rules. Top U.S. financial regulators call for new laws to cover digital assets such as Bitcoin. The Biden administration has called on Congress to pass laws to clarify how cryptocurrencies should be regulated, as officials warned that delays on Capitol Hill could put investors at risk. The U.S. Financial Stability Oversight Council, a group of the country's top financial regulators, including the Treasury, issued a report on Monday urging politicians to come to an agreement on a number of areas, including how to regulate Bitcoin and other crypto assets sold on the spot market. So it's talking about the Luna collapse and all that stuff. So that the regulation's speeding up. They want to figure this out. All right. So then we got U.S. risk watchdog asked Congress to name crypto spot market regulator. The Treasury-led Financial Stability Oversight Council has responded to President Joe Biden's executive order with calls for greater regulatory reach into markets, crypto firms, affiliates, and outside service providers. So they're looking to figure out who's going to regulate the spot markets. Like when I buy, say, Bitcoin and I withdraw it to my ledger, right? Who's going to regulate that versus like being on Femex and trading like futures or derivatives, stuff like that. So that's the case there, and it should be coming out soon. And they're looking to create a federal prudential framework for stablecoin issuers that will let regulators set up guardrails around the tokens that are so vital to the current crypto trading and future payment ideas. So that's going to have effects on like the Stellars, the Ripples, because they are in fact stablecoin issuers, because you can issue tokens and on top of the XRP ledger, on top of the XLM ledger, on top of the HBAR ledger. So that's going to have implications there. And then Italy hasn't vetted the 73 crypto firms it approved this year. So companies entered into a new registry for crypto firms. They've secured regulatory approval in Italy, but they haven't been checked for compliance yet. And then we have the digital euro and the importance of central bank money. This was today. So there are actually two types of money. This is from the European Central Bank. The euro is the currency of the euro area. More than 340 million Europeans carry euro banknotes and coins around as cash and pay in euro when they shop online. So they're talking about cash is not the same as an electronic payment. One is central bank money and the other is private money. We all use both types of money all the time, but the difference is important when it comes to understanding the need for a digital euro. So central bank money is at the ECB create is called central bank money. The cash in your wallet or purse is central bank money. In fact, banknotes and coins are currently the only kind of central bank money available to the public. Central bank money is also called public money because it is issued by a public institution, the central bank, and is therefore backed by the public sector. But private money is when commercial banks also create money. That's actually what they do when they grant you a new loan and the money appears in your bank account. This kind of money is called private money. This also includes the balance you see on your bank statement and the savings in your account. The payments you make with your debit or credit cards or via online payment service are all transfers of private money because you are using money created by your bank. So they're talking about that and how they interact, bridging the gap with the digital euro. Our ambition is to combine the benefits of central bank money with how people use money and pay today. This would allow us to provide you with public money in electronic form in addition to cash. The way to do this is a central bank digital currency, the digital euro. Similar to spending the money in your bank account, you could use a card or a phone app to pay with your digital euro, but it would be central bank money guaranteed and backed by the ECB. So now the central banks are basically trying to be direct with the consumer, offering loans, offering money, maybe stimulus checks or whatever, and like directly straight from the central bank. So another benefit is that a digital euro would increase the resilience of our currency against unregulated technological developments in the banking and financial sectors, such as crypto assets and alternative payment solutions that do not make use of major card schemes, which could undermine financial stability. So the need for a digital euro, they said that many people are shifting away from cash and towards new digital payments. We want to safeguard the role of public money as the monetary anchor and maintain trust in our currency. Issuing a digital euro would allow us to strengthen the monetary and payment system, would allow everyone to use public money to make safe payments anywhere in the euro area. There we go. So, and we already know the Digital Euro Association. We know who's tied up with that. I don't got to repeat it. Another huge thing today. Got everything that we've been waiting on, right? SWIFT says it's proved it can be the way forward for global central bank digital currencies. The financial messaging system said it has carried out transactions between different blockchain networks using both central bank digital currencies and fiat currencies. And then we have SWIFT, a key part of the conventional financial system that helps make cross-border payments between banks, has presented a framework for a global central bank digital currency system, claiming to have solved the challenge of interoperability between different networks. We have, following experiments involving the central banks of France and Germany, as well as HSBC, NatWest, Standard Chartered, UBS, and Wells Fargo, SWIFT said it has carried out transactions between different blockchain networks using both CBDCs and fiat currencies. CBDCs aren't exactly cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, but they are cousins that share similar underpinnings. The DLT system known as blockchain that Bitcoin pioneered. Central banks have for years toyed with the idea of digitizing fiat currencies like the US dollar as CBDCs. Amid those central bank experiments, attention has turned out to how the CBDCs of different countries could interact when using different networks. Blockchain networks could be interlinked for cross-border payments through a single gateway. SWIFT's new transaction management capabilities could orchestrate all inter-network communication. SWIFT is a messaging system that supports international bank transactions. Its network is used in more than 200 countries by more than 11,000 financial institutions. There have been suggestions, however, that digital currencies in the form of crypto, stablecoins, or CBDCs could turn SWIFT into an also-ran. I don't know what that means. SWIFT therefore embarked on a series of experiments in December 2021 to demonstrate that it was ahead of the digital currency curve. Alongside its work on CBDCs, SWIFT also explored tokenized assets, whereby assets like stocks and bonds are transformed into tokens that can be issued and traded in real time. SWIFT said that it can serve as a single access point to different blockchains and that its infrastructure could be used to create and trade tokens across tokenization platforms. CoinDesk recently reported that SWIFT was working with Chainlink, a provider of price feeds. Yeah, there we go. So they're working with some of these crypto companies that, like the XRPs, the XLMs, the HBARs, there's no way that they out of nowhere just was able to, look at that. They're partnered with Chainlink. Who would have thought, right? So they're easily using some sort of tech on the back end that is interoperable with some of these blockchain networks. And I'm going to dive into it and see what's good and look into kind of the intricacies of it. But this is all huge, huge news. We're talking about all the money, explore tokenized assets, all the money, stocks, bonds transferred into tokens issued on this ledger. And then when you have to have that interoperability and the conversion of it, it's got to flow through a neutral asset. So there we go. So I'm going to look into the report. I'll find it after. All right. So this is back September 1st. The International Monetary Fund remains skeptical about a private system, but is pushing for new ideas on a state-backed digital currency. New global CBDC platform could cut payment costs. It's talking about wants the IMF to develop a new system to cut the cost of international transfers. The platform would accept CBDC payments, hold them in escrow, and issue tokens against them. The private sector would be able to extend the uses of the platform by writing smart contracts. The writing's on the wall, guys. All right. It's really just the regulation just waiting to be worked out. And then Fidelity expands crypto suite with Ethereum index fund. The asset manager raised $5 million in its Ethereum index fund so far. Filing from Tuesday shows wealthy individuals who can invest a minimum of $50K each have access to the fund. See, this is what I've been telling you guys. I worked at Fidelity last year. I quit. I started at actually September 2020. I quit around May of 2021. But when you guys were joining, I was telling you guys you want to be in before Fidelity's, the Blackrocks offer crypto investments in their 401ks to the average person, to the retail. Right now, it looks like they're still only offering it to their wealth management clients. But we saw the other day that they're gearing up to launch a retail version. So we're close to that moment of everybody being able to, with their 401k accounts, be able to invest in crypto. We're not there yet, but we're close. The window's closing. Everything that we're talking about is now happening. All right. So the EU seals text of landmark crypto law, MiCA, fund transfer rules, legal text of licensed crypto firms and vet transactions were agreed to by national diplomats after political deals struck in June. So now we're getting some of the confirmation of regulations. So I'll reveal the identity of those making crypto payments. When is this going to go into effect? Early part of next year before taking effect in 2024. So it's going to be published early next year, 2024. Maybe we don't get regulations till 2024. That could be a thing, but could be a lot of talk in between then and a lot of things that could move the markets. And then Near partnered with Google Cloud to accelerate Web3 startups. Then we got Swift completes tokenized assets experiment with Northern Trust and Settle. I did a whole video on this. I showed the connections between Settle, Ripple, and Swift with, I think her name was Margin Delatine. She worked at Swift, then Ripple, then Settle, and she's the head of innovation there. And all of the signs are there. So Swift and its partners are testing the tokenized asset market with a focus on interconnecting market participants, ensuring interoperability and simplifying their operations by completing activities centrally. Remember Interledger, they've literally, Ripple's Interledger solves the interoperability problem with a few lines of code. I think Quant has the overledger that solves that as well too. But Swift, the world's leading cross-border payments technology, announced that it successfully completed the blockchain pilot for tokenized assets with Northern Trust, Clearstream, and Settle. These partners collaborated last December to investigate the development of tokenized asset market. The goal is to focus on interconnecting market participants, ensuring interoperability, and simplifying their operations by completing activities centrally. So talking about CBDCs, tokenized system. Our vision for instant frictionless transaction not only applies to traditional securities instruments, but also to new asset classes as well. Let's see, Swift tokenized assets. Swift is currently the largest facilitator of cross-border payments across the globe. They want to create a common interface to enable the tokenization of assets. Yep, we're entering a pivotal moment of history by connecting the dots between Swift and the new tokenized world. This experiment could lay the foundation for universal interoperability between participants and systems during the transactional life cycle of tokenized assets. We're there. We're at the pivotal moment in history, guys. Truly insane. Truly. Were there clues to a new financial system on September 30th? Let's see. I don't know. It's like it's a podcast. We're not going to go through that. Let's keep going. So Swift said, I think I just went through this. I did. And then connecting digital islands, paving the way for global use of CBDCs and tokenized assets. When was this? October. This was today. Our groundbreaking new innovation lays a path for digital currencies and tokenized assets to integrate seamlessly with the world's existing financial ecosystem. New technologies continue to disrupt the financial landscape, but with multiple players building different solutions on different technology platforms, it's easy to imagine the digital financial ecosystem consisting of digital islands, disjointed systems that can't interact with one another. But in our pioneering new experiments, we've shown how our existing infrastructure can be used to join up multiple DLT platforms with each other, as well as with existing payment system. This result means that CBDCs and tokenized assets, digital tokens that represent ownership of all or part of a stock, bond, or even a liquid assets like real estate, could potentially be integrated into the financial ecosystem without causing disruption. Digital currencies and tokens have huge potential to shape the way we all pay and invest in the future, but that potential can only be realized if the different approaches that are being explored have the ability to connect and work together. We see inclusivity and interoperability as central pillars of the financial ecosystem, and our innovation is a major step towards unlocking the potential of the digital future. Talking about using CBDCs for cross-border payments, you have these banks collaborating in a testing environment to accelerate its path to full-scale deployment. Unlocking the tokenized assets, like we're here. We're at the moment. This is like the go time. Then we have XRP may make everyone cry, this trader says. I don't know what that is. So let's keep going. Oh, here we go. So while a retail CBDC gets all the attention, many central banks around the world and their commercial banks are interested in wholesale CBDCs for bank-to-bank settlement. That's where the big money is. We're talking about the central bank's money, like their own digital gold that they transact with each other to settle their wholesale CBDCs. Like, we're talking big money.
Yeah, so the geopolitics of this is interesting because retail CBDC gets all the attention, right? What is China doing with their ECNY project? Is the US going to do a retail CBDC or not? What is the European Central Bank doing? But what we've seen since Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the G7 sanctions response is that many central banks around the world and their commercial banks are interested in wholesale CBDC, bank-to-bank settlement. Now, why would that be? Well, if you saw how the US and the Europeans use SWIFT, used cutting off of the banking system, froze reserves. If you're a central bank in another country that's non-aligned with the sanctions effort, you might be thinking to yourself, I need a way around the dollar-based system or the dollar-euro aligned system. And wholesale CBDC, bank-to-bank transfer outside of the SWIFT system, gives you that potential opportunity. So from our tracking, we were looking at 7 wholesale projects before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We're looking at about double that amount now, just in the past 6 months that will come online. So I think it's a very important development to understand, while retail gets a lot of attention, how you buy your cup of coffee, how banks transfer money to each other is equally, if not more important, and getting a lot of attention in the international financial world.
I would say more important. We're talking about loads of money versus the cup of coffee, right? So SWIFT has formally announced they are using blockchain currencies for cross-border payments. SWIFT has presented a framework for global CBDC right there. Then I'm going to do that in another video. So what Blackrock has taken over the Fed. So the acquisition, guys, we've been talking about Blackrock for a bit now. The acquisition of the Federal Reserve by Blackrock is expected to close within 30 days from CNBC. Federal Reserve Bank of New York hired Richard Ostrander as general counsel and head of the legal group. In this role, he will also be a member of the bank's executive committee and will serve as deputy general counsel of the Federal Open Market Committee. Ostrander will join the New York Fed in November 2022. He is currently a managing director in legal and compliance at Blackrock. Blackrocks, they got their hand all over it, guys. Like, we're here. We're at the moment. We've been talking about it, keeping you ahead of the game. Then we have power of 3 macro cycles. So you have your accumulation, your manipulation, and expansion. So like, this is the expansion phase that we were in. We had our accumulation to our manipulation, and we're getting ready for our expansion phase again. We're at the moment. So you have the green, blue, red, green, blue, red, green, blue, red, green is next. So load up. Then we got, we've been talking like Ripple and Swift being partnered since like 2018. That was always a thing. Let's keep going. So Cybo, Swift's thing, October 10th to the 13th. That's in like a week, 7 to 10 days. There's going to be something drop there, some heat. We're going to have to hear it and see what's good. But learn how we can accelerate the investments community's ESG journey. Who's been telling you about green finance for the longest time now? Like, that is what is going to be implemented in here. There's going to be a revaluation of everything based off of ESG. Get ready for Cybos 2022. Get ready to tackle security settlement fails once and for all. Hear from the experts why fails happen and how to stop them. There we go. Now, Bangladesh national power grid collapses causes a blackout for 140 million citizens. Blackouts, guys. That's why we need to have the ledger, and we need to have a backup stash of supplies in case shit hits the fan, basically. And then Japanese government is warning that North Korea appears to have launched at least 1 ballistic missile. There's a possibility it's heading towards Japan. The government is urging everyone in the country to monitor news media. Not good, guys. Then we have the national debt tops 31 trillion for the first time. I'm telling you, when this gets to the $33 trillion, the shit's going to hit the fan. Just wait. You're going to see it on the news. It's going to say national debt tops 33 trillion, and then there's going to be a break of the system. Credit Suisse uses the XRPL. It's over. We will see $100 immediately. Nobody can argue against this watching this news closely. And then we saw that Polygon's partnerships over the last 12 months, DraftKings, NFL, Adobe, Starbucks, Disney, Mercedes, Meta, Reddit. So like Polygon's wrapped up in it. I like the coins that are partnering with these traditional companies because the writing's on the wall there. And yeah, so that's it for this segment of the news. I'm just going to keep rattling them off today. So I'm going to post them as I do them. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the Discord.